What's up, y'all? Okay, so recently in a haul, I mentioned there was something kind of different I want to try. I don't know if I mentioned like there's a few different things, but there are a few different things I want to try to do here, other than just my usual hauls, an occasional or a rare vlog here and there, stuff like that. Um, like I said, there are a few things, and there's still some things I'm working on trying. But one of the ones that I've been wanting to do, I've really been wanting to do for a while now. I know the idea has gone back at least a couple years, if not more, and it's taken me this long to finally do it, but I'm finally doing it. Is like a a question of the day kind of thing, where I pose a mostly toy or collector related question, you know, and then you guys can comment down below your answers, and I'll also answer my own question, and then we can talk about it. It's like it's a way to be interactive. It's a way, for us to kind of discuss topics on our minds as collectors and geeks. Um, Here and there, I might do some that aren't toy related or geek related, just maybe life related stuff that we still all hopefully. I'm not gonna throw random stuff, or who knows, maybe I will. It's me we're talking about here. I might throw random stuff that not everybody can relate about. It might just be a personal thing, and I'll just throw the question out there in case someone out there does relate. But for the most part, I might throw stuff out there that most of us can relate to anyway. But yeah, most of them will be uh, toy or geek or collector related questions. Um, so I have a few in mind. I actually reached out to a few. Excuse me, a few. It's cold. You see, I'm wearing a hoodie, and I'm in the garage, and that's partly for a reason. Partly because I didn't know where to do this. You guys are used to seeing my office room floor, or my once in a while my office room table, or sometimes the walls if I'm on camera like this. So I just want to try something a little different, even though you guys have seen this in the past. I've shot in here at least a couple times. Anyway, I reached out to a few friends, a few good collector friends, for any ideas or suggestions they might have on topics. And when I use one of those, I'll say it. I'll give them credit. I'll give you guys credit for giving me the ideas and suggestions. So anyway, let's jump right into this first one. And like I said, I'm here in the garage partly for a reason, because it is partly somewhat a somewhat answer to the question. So here we go. This first question, I got the idea from Charles, aka Marvel and DC 379 here on YouTube. Um, and it's, what toys do you collect and why? I know that's kind of broad, because toys, if I specified only action figures, that can really narrow it down. But toys in general. Now, if you happen to be watching this and you don't collect toys at all, but you are a collector, then what do you collect? Um, but in terms of toys, like, do you collect just because you like the toys? I actually know a few people who they collect stuff they're into. Or let me finish the other point first. Or do you collect stuff that are based on media or properties that you're into? From like comics, books, movies, TV shows, anime, manga, other forms of media, stuff that are basically toy representations of stuff that you're into from media or intellectual properties. Again, there's partly this answers that, and even what you see in the background for me answers that. Okay, so those are just what I said just now. That's laying out the question, but you can answer it any way you want. So if you'd like to answer, really, please comment down below. I love to hear your answers, and get some discussions going. So for my answer, what toys do I collect? Yeah, I'm in the garage for a reason, because that gives you an idea. That gives you a little idea. It's there's your answer. It's also another way to sum it up is too many to say. Um, my arm's getting tired, so I'm gonna kind of support my arm here a little, bring it a little closer. Yeah, I'm into a lot of things. Of course, some of wow. I can't narrow it down, and I'm not gonna turn this into like an hour long vlog talking about everything I collect because I could. But if you know me, I love toys. I love toys. I love toys that have nothing to do with licensed properties, but then I love, and probably the majority of what I collect is stuff that is based on properties that I'm into. G.I. Joe, one of my most long time and childhood favorites. I grew up G.I. Joe, like Lego. I'm not really switching topics, but Lego is also one of my longtime favorites. Lego. Here's another little tidbit. I'm just gonna throw this in right now, which it could probably be a whole other topic of discussion. But I've been collecting my whole life because I never did the whole thing like I stopped collecting at one point, when I was a kid or a teen or something, and then got back to it when I was older. I just was always into toys. I never got out of it, whether it was a transition from just being a kid and playing with toys to actually collecting. It's hard to separate that because I just was always into toys and never stopped being into toys. Lego was one of the constants. That's probably one of my very first toys, and it, it I go into phases, and that's another part of the question or answer to the question is what do I collect? It depends what what year or what month or because I'm into a lot of things I'm into, but like I sometimes go into phases of collecting, like be on a GI Joe kick, and we're talking about like I'm not talking about when I was a kid or when I was younger. I mean like let's say now in the past few years, like I might suddenly be back, really back into GI Joe, and I'm gonna focus on GI Joe for like a few months or a few weeks or something. Getting ones that I missed out on or stuff like that, or just really focusing and enjoying on that more than the other stuff. Even though I don't stop collecting anything, I just kind of more into other stuff. So, um, again, me, I like everything. GI Joe, Lego, Transformers, all the properties I grew up with, 80s cartoons, 90s cartoons, horror movies, sci-fi movies. Aliens is always one of my most favorites, and more recently, and there's two examples in the background. DC, the DC universe. That's actually more recently. I grew up on the superheroes and comics and stuff like that. It was definitely different back in back in my childhood days than it is today, where it really is everywhere, and it's everything in a way. But I want to say, when I was a kid, I was like a lot of kids. When you're a kid, you really don't know the difference between Marvel and DC. They're just superheroes. So I was into superheroes. I got older. I wasn't as much into superheroes. I was into them largely in the 90s. Um, you know, Lots of good 90s goodness. Largely into Marvel. I was both into Marvel and DC, but I didn't read as much back then. As I got older, I stopped collecting comics, but I went into phases of reading, getting into comics again and reading. But reading or collecting comics was just too expensive to do on top of collecting toys. Um, Superhero movies started coming out and getting really good, and for so many years I was a Marvel fanboy. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I was mostly into Marvel. But there's the Batman movies. Even the first Batman movie, that got me obsessed with Batman. I liked Batman. I always liked Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, um, DC Super Friends, you know, but it's like, Batman came out in 89 and man, I became obsessed with Batman. So in a way, he was kind of my first favorite superhero. And I know I'm kind of going off the rails of my topic here. It's hard. I really want to try to keep this, not too long. But yeah, really, I collect so much, And if you follow my videos, then it's almost like I don't need to answer the question because you see everything, all my hauls, and I've shown off parts of my collections. But yeah, Marvel, DC, superheroes, comics, anime, sci-fi, yeah. More specifically, I will say this. More recently, in the past couple years, my focus has been 6-inch action figures. Marvel Legends has been a big part of that. DC Multiverse has been a big part of that. Getting more into imports, SH Figure Arts, Mafex, some Figma, Revoltech. Oh man, those Marvel and now DC Revoltech. Um, so yeah, again, I collect things that are based on stuff that I'm into, but I also just love toys. Man, to this day, I still can enjoy like a kid's toy that has nothing to do with any property I'm into. I just love toys. Cars. You guys know I collect the hell out of some Hot Wheels too, and all kinds of other cars. So, yeah, I know that doesn't really comprehensively cover all the things I collect and why, but that's I'm gonna kind of try to leave it at that as my answer. Um, and again, if you guys wanna reply, you wanna get in on discussing this topic, please comment down below. I'd really appreciate your getting in on this, getting interactive with this, and thanks again to Charles for the idea for this particular topic. There will be many more to come. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys will enjoy uh, commenting and, discussing the topics with me and other viewers who are checking out the comments and stuff. But you know me, I'm a, I'm a stubborn asshole. I'm gonna do this. Well, let's be honest, I'm gonna do this whether anyone likes it or not. So I hope you do. It'll make it more fun if we all discuss and interact. But again, this is me. I'm gonna do it. Now that I started, it's gonna happen. So there you guys have it. Again, please comment down below. Really would really appreciate it. And as always, thanks so much for watching.